here we are in February of 2020 with the Switch sales sitting around 50.8 million at the time of this writing, which makes the Switch the second best selling console of this generation despite coming out 3 years after the PS4 and Xbox One. The Switch has been a success right out the gate, showing the entire world that having the option to play games at home on their TV and out wherever they go has enough appeal to them that they'll even rebuy games they already own and at a full $60 price tag. So can someone please explain to me why we are expected to beg for Switch ports? In an interview with IGN, the communications manager for Atlas, Ari Advincula, Ari was asked if we would like to see Persona 5 on the Switch. She responded with, "You want what you want, and if you don't let us know it, we're never going to be able to make it." She goes on to say, "Keep telling us what you want." She's also stated that she's been an advocate for it internally, but ultimately she's not the person that makes decisions when it comes to these things, and thus the Break Free Persona hashtag was born. If we're being honest with ourselves, begging for games is nothing new to Nintendo fans. I remember taking part in Operation Rainfall back in the day, and although it's not quite the same scenario as Persona 5, it goes to show the lengths that the fans have to go through to get their voices heard. People called customer support and even sent letters to Nintendo to show them that those were the games that people wanted to play. While The Last Story and Pandora's Tower remain lost in time, Xenoblade ended up being very successful. Well, successful enough to get a 3DS port, a Wii U Virtual Console release, 2 sequels with Xenoblade Chronicles X and Xenoblade 2, Shulk and Super Smash Bros., and a full-blown remake on its way to the Switch. Movements like this and asking for ports made sense back in the Wii and Wii U days, with the Wii being severely underpowered compared to the competition and the Wii U just not having any sales numbers to justify porting anything. It really was a lot to ask the developers to put in the time and energy required to make it happen. But the Switch doesn't have these problems. Well, it might be a little underpowered, but it's nowhere close to the power gap the Wii struggled with. We can get games like Doom, Wolfenstein, and Witcher 3 running on the Switch, which proves to show if there's a will, there's a way. When we look at the hardware sales, as I mentioned earlier, along with the fact that there's quite a few people who double dip to get Switch games and pay full price to do so, it's crazy to see companies not port their biggest games to the Switch. Persona 5 has quite frankly run its course on the PS4. I don't mean this in a rude way, I'm talking more about sales. It's been out for a while now, has been on sale several times, and I'm pretty sure at this point that almost everyone that has a PS4 and wanted to buy Persona 5 has done so already. So why not bring it to an entirely new audience and make more money with minimal effort? It's clearly a game people want on the system, and it's an easy business decision to profit from. So what's the problem? Why are we still expected to beg for Switch ports? It's truly amazing how out of touch some of these companies are and how much money is left on the table because of it. If we do get Persona 5 on the Switch, it could easily open the doors to having Persona 3 and Persona 4 make their way over, which would lead to more games for us and more money for Atlas, and everyone is happy. Even if Persona 5 came to the Switch and didn't sell well, it wouldn't be too much time or energy lost on the endeavor. It's a very low risk, high reward scenario. It simply makes too much sense. When you think about it, it's funny how some companies like EA and Activision believe that they know what's best for gamers and that they know what we want, while they cut content and sell it back in loot boxes. And then we have Atlas, who apparently needs to be told that yes, we like your game, and yes, we would buy it on our favorite system. Fans of the movement created the Break Free Persona hashtag on Twitter to show their support and even had it trending in the United States. If that doesn't show the company that there's interest for a port, I'm not too sure what else there is to do or what they're waiting for. Maybe they need us to pull an Operation Rainfall and call their customer support. Should we write letters and fax them over? How about we all just invest in a giant flock of pigeons and send it that way? How many of you guys know how to send smoke signals? The days of non-first party games not selling on Nintendo systems are gone, at least for now, but the stigma still remains. Quite a few third-party and indie developers have found a good amount of success by bringing their games over to the Switch in these past 3 years, often finding themselves surprised by how much their games sell on the system. You would think that other developers would look at that and go, you know what, I think we're missing out on some easy money. We should put games on there too. But here we are, living in a world where most developers would rather chase trends like live service games and loot boxes in an oversaturated market than have more game sales on a system that people truly enjoy. I'm not saying the last part applies to Atlas, but it does need to be called out. Look, the point I'm trying to make here is that although I support everyone who's trying to get through to Atlas using the Break Free Persona hashtag, it shouldn't even be a thing. The Switch has the hardware sales, it has the capability if it can run Doom and The Witcher 3, and it has a JRPG fanbase willing to spend money on the damn game. Maybe if we could write it in hieroglyphics, I think that might be the way to do it. Hold on, let me check to see how much a stone slab and chisel costs on Amazon.